Hello everybody. Now today I want to talk about an interesting car. So when you first get into drifting, you don't need a lot of car, you don't need a lot of horsepower, you don't need a lot of setups. I think being the Silvias or Nissan Silvia Skylines is one of the first choices back in the day. But still, these are very nice cars, just a little bit hard to find and with a lot of drift tags. The price has gone up quite a bit for these cars. Usually with this SR20 Silvias, what I like to do is give them a little bit boost up, making about 300 horsepower, and there's plenty of power that if you want to hit the track, if you want to learn all your drifting techniques and all that, and that's perfectly powered. After that, you don't need much more for the handling. You'll be able to have some fun. You improve your skills and you can decide, okay, maybe I want to add bit more angle, I want to add a bit more different alignments, and body kit will choose your choice basically for the styling, and then you have a basic nice drift car. This one is very interesting. It's been freshly imported from Japan and hasn't been put compliance onto the road yet. We have done quite a few works on this car, but main thing is just making 300 horsepower. It's ready to drift. Anyone can hop in it for a little bit of fun with the SR. So let me quickly show you around this car. Yeah, as you can see, the outside is pretty tidy. It's running a wide body, it's running a body kit. Still full start, being the 180 is, I think all the 180 has come with a full start, unless you have changed to 5-star yourself. And this one's being a 1995 Type X, not the 1989 sort of the early models, so slightly later model. Still, if you think about it, the original ones, it's been 30 years old, and this car is still being 25 years old, still becoming a slightly older car. But anyway, it's such a good chassis. But one thing what I didn't really like is the original owner took the Type X taillight. You know, that's one thing you need in these Type X 180s. I like the Type X wing. The wing's still there, but look at it, the tail light is gone. So outside is tidy, running a 4-star wheels. Let's check it inside. So I fitted a bucket seat, steering wheel. It's got a nice shifter boot. Let's check it out. And the old one is crappy and hard to find. And also we have a drift button on the handbrake. And we have these dashboard carpets. I'm not sure if it had any cracks underneath it. Running a G-Ready Perfect B boost controller over there. Everything else is pretty simple. Even have the Japanese audio thing right there. So let me just open up. Here it is, the SR. So these engines these days are super expensive. I'm trying to buy SR the other day and jump on TradeMe, and it was like 5K or 4K or something. You know, these engines was used to be real cheap, but I guess just less and less cars on the road these days and just less people wrecking it. So being a 300 horsepower SR, you have to have some injectors. So this is running a Nismo 555, and over here it's A32 airflow, and obviously got a fuel pump and the computer tuning. Everything else is pretty basic. G-Ready intercooler. I think this is aftermarket radiator. It looks like a factory one, but actually it's way thicker. You see how thick that is? That's like twice the thickness of a factory one. Apart from that, just as mentioned, you know, you don't need a super fancy car to start with drifting, and this car right here is something that a lot of people, even myself, how I got into drifting. Basically have a 300 horsepower SR Silvia, and later on I'm gonna take this car, jump on the track for a couple of spins. As I mentioned, you don't need a lot of car to get started into drifting, and just like myself, I pretty much started with SR, about 300 horsepower, and that's how I started. And I like to keep that sort of power range, which is, you factory engine, factory T28. Oh, actually, the 180s don't come with a factory T28, and this car has been swapped to a S14 or S15 T28, and that works good. And even with some of my Japanese cars, that in Japan I'm still running 300 horsepower, and just being a factory engine and turbo, and the reliability really gives you a lot of more seat time. Apart from that, handling wise, I think just some coilovers from Japan, hasn't done any single mod, even on any arms, but it drives fine. And by the way, this car is for sale. So at Drift Park we have a line of drift cars that are for sale, from a basic setup right to a V8 setup. So all of these cars are pretty much set up well and ready to drift. So let's take this for a spin. Alright, so we jump into this 180, gonna do a couple of laps. Just gonna warm up the handbrake. Horsepower, it's all good. It's actually has a bit more power than my S15, and I think the whole car just handles a little bit better as well, or maybe it's a bit lighter, and yeah, really hooks up, has good traction, and just goes. So factory handbrakes are all good. I'm having fun just drifting factory SRs, and very nice car. So by the way, this car for sale if it hasn't sold before this video come out, but yeah, we have a few cars, a line of cars that for sale at Drift Park. Just you know, have a bit fun, but also provide the customer some drift car to get in drifting. But yeah, this is a very nice one. If you're interested, you can send us a message. But other than that, I think I really like this car. This sort of reminds me of the 300 horsepower SR when I first got in drifting. And if you guys like it, give me a thumb up, and also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.